Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Thomas Kimsey, President, CEO, Thomas USAF, Specialist in Rural Lending and USDA Lending. Thomas, it's great to have you with us. We need an update on that. And Lance, good to see you. It seems like it's been a while. Jeez,
yeah, Bob, taking Friday off. I was like looking for my login, wanted to talk about some current news, which just started today. But I miss being here Friday.
Well, let's do this, Lance. Let's talk about your current news, because I know that's important and you've been taking advantage of it. Let's start with you. Tell us what's going on.
Well, the SBA and I know at some point everyone's going to be tired of PPP, but we're working our way through it. And there was one challenge that we had that SBA has been telling us they were going to address for about 8 months. It was when you have a PPP loan where you submitted for guaranteed purchase and the borrower shows up at some point down the road and says, hey, I'd like to submit for forgiveness. Well, per the PPP guidelines, they have the right to submit for forgiveness up to the maturity date of the loan. But the problem was there was no way, SBA provided no guidance on how we do that. Well, guys, it's up live and running today. We have submitted a small group of loans where we'd already submitted for guaranteed purchase and gotten paid, and the borrowers came back and wanted forgiveness, which is their right, and we've submitted it. All you have to do on these, two ways. One, the borrower could submit you a manual 3508S, and you can go to in the PPP forgiveness platform and do a manual submission, or the forgiveness platform is opened back up to borrowers who have had a guaranteed purchase submitted. So the borrower should be able to go. Now, we've not tested this part, Bob, so we know that getting a manual form and submitting a manual forgiveness application works because we've done it. But SBA also states that the borrower should be able to go back in the direct forgiveness platform at directforgiveness.sba.gov and submit for forgiveness in that fashion as well. So, and like I said, SBA's been working on this. Was talking to a couple of people at SBA last week, and they said it'll be live Monday. And of course, we got a release that said it would be live Monday. It's live and it's working. So, happy to share that info. I know everybody don't have a ton of these, Bob, but if you've got somebody you've done a guaranteed purchase on and they want to submit for forgiveness, well, you're required to submit that forgiveness. Help them submit that forgiveness application. So that's the news of the day.
Any glitches?
So far, Bob, it's working just fine. Like I said, we've only done manual submissions so far, but we're excited about it, Bob, because we probably had 20 where we had done a guaranteed purchase and the borrower came back, a month or two after the guaranteed purchase and said, hey, wait a second, I want to submit for forgiveness. And we're like, oh, we don't know how to do that right now. Well, SBA's provided the avenue for us. It started today and it's working. If anybody has questions about it, don't hesitate to email us and I'll be happy to answer those.
Very good. Well, thank you for that update. Thomas, what's going on with rural lending?
Yeah, Bob, it's good to be back, and we're excited about the 22nd Annual National Rural Lenders Roundtable on December 8th at the Phoenix Park Hotel in D.C. So, the good thing about the event, it's a free event. You just got to get to D.C., but no registration. It's just, go and register for the event. But we're expecting we have a really good agenda this year. With the Undersecretary Sochi Torres Small to give us an update from the Secretary's office, the national office leadership as well, Mark Brzezinski and Aaron Morris, and we have somebody from the White House there to as well, rural development and secondary market, and the Farm Bill. Farm Bill is obviously coming up next year. That's a huge item. Obviously, there are a lot in that goes into that, and from rural development and the BNI and the USDA programs, we want to make sure that, we submit and get things in there that will benefit the program. So that will be a big discussion as well. So, folks that are listening, and if they want to learn more about USDA and have an opportunity to speak with the national office leadership, it's a great event to come to.
Thomas, you devised the content, so it's geared for experienced lenders who want to get to know or introduce themselves to the national office, but also, as you said, for lenders who are interested in the program. Well, how many counties, what percentage on a geographic basis can these loans cover? It's pretty large, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the definition technically is, under 50,000 in population. Obviously, we plug that into the USDA website to determine that eligibility. But
yeah, all you have to do is go in and plug in an address and it says yes or no.
yes, but if you look across the country, I mean, obviously a large part of the United States is rural areas, so you'd be surprised of those areas that are still eligible.
Real quick, Thomas, tell us what's the average loan size, average loan use?
Yeah, I mean, the average size, that we're seeing, from our perspective, is in the $5 million mark. As far as industries, we're certainly still seeing a lot from the hospitality standpoint, but we also see a lot in the, healthcare sector, the assisted living sector. And, the beauty of the USDA program, we can go above $5 million. We're not limited to $5 million like SBA, and we can do multiple loans.
And there's no cap, correct?
No cap, and no cap on guarantors as well. So
right.
It'll give you a lot of runway to do the larger transactions as well.
Yeah, and you can have strong borrowers. It's very flexible. It's an ideal program if you have an existing customer. Those two buckets that Thomas mentioned, hospitality, hotels, assisted living, if they're maxed out in SBA and they in a rural area, bam, this is a perfect fit for them. And they can do, I know you have multiple relationships with people who have several loans. So it's nice. It's not a one-off with one customer. You can build a nice long-standing customer relationship and watch that person grow.
Exactly. That's the key. And that's been, for our success is to be able to grow with those borrowers as they grow and provide multiple loans. So, it's a great opportunity. Again, if you got that burning question or comments or concerns about the program, it's an opportunity to have that discussion with the national office and get the answer you're looking for on that question with the.
I think you got a great rate on the hotel. What are the hotel rooms?
Yeah, the hotel rooms I think are around $200. So we've got.
Wow.
Yeah, which for DC is, I mean, is that come with the bathroom?
So yes, so if you're going to, would recommend you go ahead and sign up. The room block's going quick, but if you have any trouble with any of that or the room block, let me know. Be glad to help on that. We're looking for a good show.
Yeah, and it's Thomas hosts it, and it's a good event, and
we're glad Joseph's going to join us as well, and so we're going to have a good turnout.
No, we will. So well, good. Excellent event, and this is a very great program for SBA lenders because you know how government guaranteed works. Same concept. Now there are obviously nuances, but talk real quick about the secondary market. Same secondary market buyers as the people who buy the SBA loans, and compare the secondary markets between the two programs, Thomas.
Yeah, so we'll certainly have an update on the secondary market. Secondary market program. You have some other buyers than from the SBA, but some of the same group. But certainly we've seen what premiums are doing on the SBA side. I mean, we've seen some pullback as well, but the market's still good. But we're going to have an update on that as well. So that'll give you a really good indication, more specific.
Two key differences your CFO is going to like. Number one, there is no tax above the 110 premium. The lender keeps all the premium, doesn't have to share it with the SBA. The second thing is the lender keeps the prepayment penalty.
Those are the two big takeaways, Bob, and they make a big difference.
Oh, great. So I highly encourage you to do that. Get yourselves to Washington, D.C. And Thomas, it's good to see you. And you're also going to be involved in our hotel webinar at the end of the month.
That's right. Yeah, look forward to that, Bob, so we can talk about, again, how you can do the larger transactions or do a combination of SBA, USDA. And
when you say combinations, we're talking 7A, 504, we're talking
7A, BNI.
Yeah, that's great. Very good. Let's see. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stick around. And let's bring in Delaney. Delaney, talk to us about your Main Street Monday reporting. And we'd like to track on, we understand macro issues, but we'd like to get down to the micro issues and how individual businesses are responding. What is your reporting, Delaney?
So recently, Yelp released their economic average report talking about inflation. Back in June, they reported record highs of 40-year all-time high of 9.1% reports of inflation. Luckily, this has dropped about 1%. Nonetheless, though, inflation is on the rise compared to last year. There's been an increase in inflation in small businesses in every single state in the U.S., though Alaska, Kentucky, Iowa are having the largest gains.
Wow.
Yelp was also reporting more on specific areas. So the Southwest is seeing the biggest quarter-over-quarter increases in inflation, while the Midwest is seeing a greater jump in inflation year by year. They also reported food businesses. Food businesses are seeing the biggest issues with inflation. So your restaurants, your grocery stores, all of those kinds of businesses.
This is a question for both Thomas and Lance, and that is the borrowers that you talk to on a micro level, how worried are they about that? Are they able to manage it? Thomas, I'll start with you. Are they able to manage it, and are they able to adjust their supply chain, pricing, demand, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, certainly they're seeing their challenges. They are managing it, but, like most, they're it's a struggle. I mean, just talk to a lot of different folks as Lance does, and it's a challenge, but they're managing through it.
Do you have one industry that's hit harder than another, Thomas?
I don't know if I have I think it's sort of across the board.
Okay. Go ahead, Lance.
Well, I think something I'm hearing across the board from small business borrowers is they're starting to see revenues not stall, but flatten out. 2020, they had a lot of businesses had a pretty good run in 2020 because of all the stimulus money that was out there for the pandemic. 2021, a lot of the businesses I talked to the same, but now that in the statistic in Delaney's reporting that stands out, and it's because I had a group of 19 people over to my house this weekend for an event and had to go to the grocery store several times, guys. If you go to the grocery store, you can see inflation jumps out and grabs you at the grocery store. There was something I bought this weekend that a year ago was $2.99, and they were $4.49 a piece at the grocery store. And a lot of the small businesses that I'm talking to are concerned about the amount of the individual consumer's budget that's being ate up by gasoline and food prices. And those expendable, the amount of money a customer has to go buy clothes or furniture or electronics or other types, or even go eat out, is shrinking because of the great or the significant inflation in grocery store prices and gasoline prices. But you're also asking, Bob, how they're dealing with inflation, because they're all seeing increases in the products they sell, and very much so the transportation to get the products to their business. Most are kind of splitting it down the middle. They're not they're reducing profit. They're not increasing it as much as they need to maintain the same profitability, because they're looking at a product they sold, take a mattress set at the furniture store. And last year, say they paid $400 for it, now they're paying $550, Bob.
Yeah.
Well, that mattress set they pay $400, they probably sell for about $700. But at $550, it means you got to go to $1,000 or more to have the same level of profitability. Well, the customer looks at that and like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of the small businesses that I've talked to have not had a direct correlation in price increase to reflect the inflationary increases and what it costs them to get the product in. So eventually, cash flow is going to erode a little bit. Profitability is going to erode a little bit. It is presenting some challenges for most of the small businesses I've talked to.
But what I want to know, Lance, is I understand the challenge, but are they saying we're going to absorb some of that, or are we going to pass it all on? I mean, what are they
A lot of the people
that are working?
A lot of the people I've talked to, Bob, are absorbing some of it. They're keeping an eye on what price point will scare the customer away, is what one of them told me. It's like, if I increase it as much as my price to get the product into my business, if I increase it that full amount, he felt like that would scare customers away from buying that particular item. So he was sharing some of that inflationary increase.
Yeah. Thomas, what same thing with the people you talk to?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, Lance said, just, how much can they absorb and pass along? I mean, I think that's the balance that we're faced with. And it's quite a balance to get there.
Well, all I know is Southern California, the gas stations are not absorbing anything. They're passing it on. Delaney, you got more for us on your reporting?
That's kind of the big picture. It did break down some specific industries and whatnot. Beauty services, spas, some of those kinds of treatments are up about 21% from the last quarter. Similarly, arts and entertainment businesses, nightlife and bars, they seem to have some relatively big increases, about 20%. They also noted travel demand is rising, yet at the same time, inflation at hotel and travel businesses is up from last year.
Very good. Tomorrow, make sure you get our reporting. We're going to talk about the IRS, the new form 4506C. Lance, is that? I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that.
Yeah, they keep changing, Bob. Hopefully, they're trying to make it more efficient for us to be able to get transcripts. And SBA was talking about addressing the process in the new SOP that's supposed to have been out a few weeks
Friday,
ago.
right, Lance?
Yeah, it's supposed to have been out a few days ago, a few weeks ago. Who knows when it's going to come out, but I'm pretty sure SBA indicated they were going to address the process, because all your participant lending institutions, loan closings get delayed because of the need to get transcripts.
Yeah, and make sure you get that new form. That's really important. Well, very good. Ann says, of course, Iowa's seeing high inflation. Egg inputs are sky high. Wow, fertilizer up 150%.
Yeah,
and you see those individual points in time. And I guess, Lance, you've done some farm loans.
Yes.
The secret is, what I always focus on, okay, these are the facts, and I don't want to debate how we got there, but what is the small business doing to absorb those facts and to keep operating on a timely basis to repay our loans? I mean, that's...
Yeah, the farming business is kind of tough right now because they have significant increases. I always talk about my brother. He's a man of many hats. He has a farm with about 600 cattle on it. And he was telling me about fertilizer increases. He was telling me how gas pricing increases impact him from the fact that he runs diesel in all those tractors. I don't know if you looked at what diesel costs a gallon when he mows hay, bales hay, and also the increase in the price of feed. It makes it more challenging for the farm community to be successful and be profitable.
Yeah, and this is a great observation, Lisa. Small business receive some help, but all of a sudden now, wham, they're getting hit with inflation plus higher interest rates. And I like where she's going on that. Obviously, I think we're through the PPP type of free money, but allowing extended maturity dates. And I've always advocated if SBA really wants to open up the spigots to Main Street, increase that guarantee percentage. Obviously, we saw the numbers on PPP, but if they want, this is as an aside, if they want those underserved markets and those smaller loans, give the lenders a 90, even 95% guarantee percentage and watch what happens. But
hey, Bob, what Lisa's saying makes a ton of sense to me. We're seeing a lot of stress every time the interest rate goes up, and the Fed just bumped it the other day, another 375 basis points. It'd be great if SBA stepped in and considered extending maturities a little longer than the SOP allows, so you could restructure and lower, give the borrower the ability to pay the loan back, because these interest rate increases, we're going to see stress from our borrowers, and it'd be great to have a tool to step in and say, hey, I can restructure your loan, lower your payments.
Yeah, absolutely. And we haven't been in this environment in 15 years with 15, 20 years of rising interest rates at this that are now impactful. And Lance, I always we're going to finish with your story of the phone calls you get, say, hey, how come my loan's going up? I want the fixed rate loan you always gave me in the past.
Yeah, that's participant lenders are probably getting a lot of calls from borrowers who are saying, now that they've experienced multiple rate increases, saying, where's my fixed rate loan? So it would certainly be great. And another thing SBA could, and then I'll shut up because I know we're running over, Bob, deferments. SBA ought to come up with a special deferment program right now to address rising interest rates and the impact it's going to have on small businesses.
Very good. Hey, real quick, we're going to finish. Thomas, I got a question. How do you sign up for the event in Washington, D.C.?
You can go to our website of the National Rural Lenders Roundtable, register there, or happy to shoot me an email here.
Yeah, and we'll also include that in our on our calendar event in our emails. Just click on that. So Google that, send an email to Thomas, myself, and we'll be happy to get that to you. Well, very good. Gentlemen, go ahead, Thomas. You were saying something else?
Sign up and look forward to seeing everybody on the 8th, December 8th.
Very good. Thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you for joining us today for today's episode. If you like today's content, hit that subscribe button to subscribe to our channel and click that bell icon to get notified about our latest videos. Thank you again for joining us today and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time. Catch you next time.